Before we go into the stories that I have set up, I need to bring you back to something we covered on our last episode because it just got closer to home. 23 passengers from MV Hundis, okay? The cruise ship stranded in the Atlantic confirmed Hantavirus outbreak has returned to the United States. They are home right now in Arizona, California, Georgia, Texas, and Virginia. State health officials are actively working to track every single one of them down for testing before the symptoms appear. Now, this is the Andes variant hantavirus, right? Up to 50% fatality rate. Some are saying it's not as deadly as COVID-19, but one of the only strain known to transmit from human to human, okay? So here's what I need to sit with you just for a moment. We covered this before as well. January 20th, 2026, the US formally withdrew from the World Health Organization, the country that just had 23 potentially exposed passengers scattering across 5 states, no longer has a seat at the table of the global health body that coordinates outbreak responses, track diseases spread, and issue public health guidance internationally. The WHO is an organization that would normally be leading the international coordination on a ship carrying a deadly virus in the Atlantic. Okay, the US is no longer a member. 23 people, 5 states, a virus with a 50% fatality rate. Now, this could be fear-mongering. It could be just, nothing for us to worry about. But I wanted to put that out there before we go into our domestic and global updates that we have going on right now. Stay with me. Be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share. What are your thoughts so far about this virus? Coming up, the BIA ruling that immigration attorneys are calling alarming. What it actually means for 506,000 DACA recipients right now in plain English, then the green card citizenship application frozen, and the new asylum fee deadline that could wipe and open pending cases by May 29th if people can't pay. And globally, the UAE is reported to have deported 15,000 Pakistani Muslims, most of them Shiites, froze their bank accounts and sent them home with clothes on their backs. Plus, Costa Rica and Thailand both just shut down doors that have been open for decades. So, on the 24th of April, the Board of Immigration Appeals issued a precedent-setting decision in the case of Catalina Santiago. The BIA is an administrative appellate court that operates inside the Department of Justice. Its decisions set binding legal precedents for every immigration judge in the country. When the BIA speaks, every immigration court in America has to listen. Here's the background. Catalina Santiago has been a DACA recipient since 2012. DHS placed her in a removal proceeding in August of 2025. The immigration judge assigned her a case, reviewed her DACA active status, and terminated the removal proceeding. That's standard practice. DACA exists to protect people like Catalina from exactly this situation. DHS has appealed to BIA and the BIA sided with DHS. Now, the 3-judge panel ruled the immigration judge, quote, erred in terminating removal proceeding based solely on the fact that the respondent had been accorded DACA protection and without considering the reasons for any oppositions for termination. In plain language, DACA status alone is no longer enough to stop your removal. We covered that DACA episode before as well. So why does this matter? The BIA sided with the government lawyers in 97% of publicly posted case last year. According to NPR analysis, that is 30% points higher than the historical average over the previous 16 years. Now, the board issued 70% of decisions last year, a record high. Every single one of those decisions has made it harder for immigrations to fight removal. Amanda Meyer, who leads the Immigration Justice Program of Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights of the San Francisco Bay Area, said directly, this decision now basically says that DACA does not make you immune from being removed. There is really imminent fear that this protection will be taken away from dreamers. That is 506,000 DACA recipients. Their protection, built on 14 years of renewal and compliance and trust in the government program, just significantly harder to enforce now. And if you have not subscribed yet, do it right now. Hit the like button, share this episode. If you know someone that is a DACA recipient, they need to hear this information right now. And the DACA ruling is not the only thing that changed this week inside the immigration system. 2 more walls just went up. Effective the 27th, which was last month of April, USCIS began applying expanded FBI fingerprint criminal history checks to green card applications, naturalization cases, asylum-related benefits, and family-based petitions. Officers were instructed in internal guidance confirmed by CBS News not to approve any affected cases until the enhanced checks are fully complete. Nobody was given a timeline for how long the checks will take. Applications are simply frozen in place with no approval rate. Doctors, engineers, teachers, spouses of U.S. citizens, people who have been waiting for years for their green card or citizenship, now waiting with no sight in end. And there is an asylum fee deadline. DHS has announced an interim final rule effective the 29th of this month, May, implementing the annual asylum fee from One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Here's what it means in plain language. If you have a pending asylum application, you now have to pay an annual fee every year for your case to remain open. If you don't pay within 30 days of being notified, USCIS will reject your entire pending asylum application. If you have no legal status, DHS will begin your removal. Now, asylum seekers, many of them who fled violence with, no savings, no income, will lose their case, not because of an immigration ruled against them, not because they committed a crime, not because they were found ineligible, but because they could not pay a fee. Now, May 29th, that is 23 days from now. And onto a global side, 15,000 Pakistani nationals who were staying in the UAE, the Shiite Muslim, have been deported in a wave of explosions that accelerated in the weeks following the Iran war. So let me introduce to you Taha. He worked for Dubai Roads and Transport Authority for over a decade. He knew the officers who work alongside him personally. On the 12th of April, plainclothes officers came. The criminal investigation department came to his workplace and basically took him. That's what's basically happened. At least that's what's being reported. Don't know what the other side of the story is. Now, laborers, doctors, small business owners, all of them are just being taken out. Now, the UAE official position, visa violation and residency enforcement, the pattern reported on the ground targeting Shiite name include Ali Hassan Hussein specifically, a religious political purge. The rest in administrative language is what it's seeming like. So why is this happening right now? The Iran war changed everything in the Gulf. The UAE, which suffered about 2,700 Iranian missiles and drone strikes, has moved into a wartime military alliance with Israel. From the looks of it, okay? We did cover a previous episode where we mentioned UAE has quit formally the OPEC, and Pakistan, which emerged as a mediator between the US and Iran, is seen by Abu Dhabi as having taken the wrong side. On April 23rd, the UAE demanded Pakistan immediately repay 1 billion of 3.45 billion debt that has previously been managed with patience and diplomacy. Don't know what's going on, but it looks like something's cooking up in the Gulf. Now, here's what people on internet are saying. The Pakistani diasporas on X and WhatsApp groups, including the Urdu language media, people are asking the question their government would not answer publicly. The Pakistani foreign minister denied the deportation and hung up the new lines approach that from the comments, right? They hung up on people that don't want to answer. Now, when it comes to the DACA advocacy communities, people are pointing to something specific. The BIA sided with the government lawyers 97% of the time last year. The board issued a record 70% decisions, and immigration attorneys are watching the judges say their hands are tied, bound by the board that operates inside the Justice Department. The same Justice Department now run by Tad Blanche, who took over. Pam Bondi was fired 2 weeks before she was supposed to testify for the files. Connect to all of it, DACA is being dismantled. Presidents without Congress ever being voting to end. Green card applications are frozen with no timeline. Asylum seekers will face deadline in 23 days that could end their cases. And globally, 15,000 people who have spent their lives building a country were expelled because the war had nothing to do. They had nothing to do. In Costa Rica, which suspended its asylum processing system this week, and Thailand, which just added a mandatory health insurance, enrolled a visa-free entry, a part of the global pattern that we've been tracking on this channel for months, you can say. Now, the door is closing everywhere at once.